Hi, my name is Sun Seng and I am the CEO of Teach from Malaysia, and I'm an alumni from the first cohort, the 2012 cohort.
My name is Kamarizwan Jalaluddin. I'm part of Teach from Malaysia Fellowship Cohort 2012. I'm currently working in one of the audit firms, also doing training and also talent development.
Hi, my name is Swetli. I was in the 2012 cohort. I'm now an education consultant with the World Bank, part-time, but I'm also a mother full-time.
I'm Karthik. I'm a 2012 alumni. I'm currently a data and management lead at Google.
I had no intention of staying on in education after the 2-year program. So I quit my job. I thought I was gonna do 2 years as like my service to the country and figured that I would go back to a corporate job after the 2 years. But that was obviously not what happened. And 12 years later, I'm still around. And I don't think that there was a plan. Imran, there was just no plan. But I think that what I had the privilege of being able to do was to pursue the thing that I felt was most important to me in that moment. So, you know, quitting my job to join the fellowship was a privilege that I had the ability to do. After the fellowship, taking on a role in Teach from Malaysia as a leadership development officer was something that just aligned with what I felt was important, what I valued at that point in time. And then every sort of career decision that I've been able to make after that has been something I've had the privilege of choosing to do. And I think that the reality of the world is that it's so unpredictable, right? And there are so many jobs that exist in the world. There are some people, I think, who have like a clear passion and a plan from young, right? But I think like the world is, you know, inventing itself as we go along, right? Jobs are coming out of nowhere. The future is more and more so ours to create than it is a plan that we have to follow based on, you know, what our parents or what society says it should be.
I never thought that I would actually become a teacher. So I studied engineering. I was in the oil and gas industry for about a year. So I was doing inspection lah. And then after that, I discovered that I wanted to start a business with my friends. So I did that for about 2 years, trying to be an entrepreneur. But I discovered that I wanted to develop myself further lah, because I didn't have the discipline and all that, right? I remember I went to a career fair, and there I was submitting my CVs to everywhere. Until somebody from Teach from Malaysia booth stopped me. I remember the previous co-founders was on a radio show and they were sharing about Teach from Malaysia. She was sharing a video of somebody in Teach for India who was teaching kids at the roadside and using the highway, the flyover wall as the whiteboard. I thought it was so surreal. And then from kids who was not able to even speak English, they were very fluent. And this was like really young kids, like primary school kids. So I was touched lah. So I just put in my email address, and that night itself I got an email. So I had 2 paths at the time. So I had 2 offers. One was from an automotive industry company. Another one was with Teach from Malaysia. And I remember I asked my dad, which one should I go to? And I remember he told me that if you were to go to the automotive industry, you just be another engineer out of the thousands that are out there. But I like cars, so it's something that I am passionate in also lah. But if you are part of this TFM, something new, you'll be a part of a pioneer group. So I thought, okay lah, let's give this a try. So it then changed my whole career trajectory. I never thought that I would be an educator, but from engineering, so I was justified by saying I'm doing like human engineering now, shaping the young minds. But I have always been like, I like doing training, I like creating programs, finding out what are the gaps and trying to address that, and currently I'm doing that as well from a career. So that's how it changed. Okay, one thing that I wanted to share with you about Alumni Pathway. So the brand name of Teach from Malaysia has grown a lot since then. And corporate, they know how tough it is to become a fellow because they know how difficult it is. And just because I was also part of Teach from Malaysia, it got me in, it opened the door for me. So don't worry, I would say you are in the right path, because these 2 years is not just about teaching others, but it's about learning from them as well. And you come out a totally different person, and you have amazing friends around you, alumni as well is going to help out.
So for me, it's not so hard because I was studying in America, and Teach for America is a household name already in America. It's very established. Everybody in Harvard and Yale or whatever wants to get into Teach for America. It's very competitive. So when I knew that they started Teach for Malaysia, for me, I already knew that it's going to be prestigious because there was that track record. So when I came back to Malaysia and I found out about it, it was a no-brainer lah. Like I knew that it was a good experience to try out. I don't want to come back and work in a bank like everyone else, or work in an engineering firm or whatever it is like everyone else. So that sort of like unique experience was what I was looking for, and Teach for Malaysia provided that exactly. And in a way, for the new fellows, you are lucky in that sense because we are established in that sense. So in a way, we have sort of, the seniors have sort of like paved that for you guys, working with employers to realize that it's a brand that is worthy of hiring. It also changed my whole career trajectory because now I'm still in education policy. I'm social education policy, and my classroom experience has mattered so much in all the work that I do. Currently in the World Bank, before that I was working with the Ministry of Education. So the fact that I was actually a classroom teacher before, and not just any classroom teacher, a teacher in a school that needs a lot of support, so I can come with that experience. So not like elite school or anything, but school that really needs help. So I think that experience has so much weightage. So when I research and write policy papers, I'm able to come with that. So if you ever thought of going to policy or international government or just any international organization, like doing TFM is very important.
It started off with this particular statement, which was we want to get the best and the brightest to solve our most challenging problem, which is education inequity. So I came across an interview on BFM radio by someone who was really intelligent, very smart, was giving the interview, known as Swetley. So I was listening to the interview on BFM and I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I think it looks very noble in its cause, but also something that gives you power to the problem being where can we have the solution for. So I like the idea that we can be part of the solution, right? When I looked at the program, there's one particular brand that actually stood out to me, right, was Google. So when I went back home and I told my mom I'm going to consider this program, at that point I was in market research, I was in a corporate, and I was going to leave that to explore this. And the first thing I told my mom is that, the pathway after this is going to be like, I'm going to join Google, so don't worry about me, I'm just going to do this for 2 years. So for me, I'm going to try and solve the problem and then take whatever learnings that I can get as leadership development and then try and apply it in the future career, right? Over the years, I think that's how I looked at it. But through it, I think I had a lot of moments of opportunity in which just allowed me to truly understand one thing about jobs in general, is that whatever you want, you can get it, and you're just collecting like moments of experiences or learning to go into that particular role. I was a teacher for 2 years teaching mathematics, and then was in the partnership development for TFM for 2 years, and that got me to work even closer with a lot of partners. So I worked directly with people like Khazanah and Google, and I went into Google office in the capacity as a partnership development to go and fundraise from Google, and I was like in their office, and I was like, wow, this office is really cool. I wish one day I would be able to. And having gone through that 2 years and having seen my students go through and break barriers of ceilings that previously was not possible, gave me that, if it's possible, I'll just give it a shot, right? So that's where, eventually I got to Google, but along the way, there was a couple of experience that I did collect. So if I were to then translate back to alumni pathway, I strongly believe that this 2 years is going to be an insight into a very difficult problem that not one person can solve, right? There needs to be many different people that comes together and solve it in many different ways, and then hopefully there will be a point in which there is a turning point where the problem gets entirely solved. But right now, I think no one knows that direct solution, but everyone knows what is the one thing that they can do to make an immediate change. And if you can multiply that by hundreds of thousands, then eventually that problem can be solved, is how I see it. And the pathway is infinite lah.